eating, environmentalism, and yet another haunted house on this edition of WatchBots!
Hi, everyone. Welcome to WatchBots, the podcast about old cartoons and saving Mother Earth. This is Ben, joined tonight by Shaylin.
Hello.
Hello. And Dave.
Howdy, cowpokes.
Yeah, that's thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an update on the mattress.
Ooh, fill us in.
I will right now. So, as discussed last week, we had a mattress coming to the house and it was freaking me out a little bit. And I stayed home. I worked at home. Thank you to my bosses for allowing that. The UPS guy showed up to the house just about on time. And I went out to meet him and he wasn't even out of the truck and I was standing in the driveway because I felt like an inconvenience to the guy. And then I offered to help carry the mattress up to the stairs, which was good. I was feeling like a real human person. And then we looked at the box and Amazon had sent the wrong size mattress.
Oh.
So this involved trying a return, putting Shaylin's phone number on the return so they would call her to set up the appointment. And then today, the new mattress came and another separate trip for people to pick up the old mattress. So just a lot of people at the house.
So what you were anxious about was just having one person at your house once, and now you have many people at your house multiple times. So it was a perfect storm for you.
Yeah, and see, the problem, too, was that they were both supposed to come in the same window. So, like, I won't say I was in a cold sweat thinking about both trucks showing up at the same moment and us trying to, like, Tetris these mattress boxes around. Thankfully, that didn't happen. The worst did not come to pass.
There was anxiety there, though.
Yeah.
And it was
were you home,
really
Shaylin?
funny. No, I was working.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was really funny to just hear Ben express his anxiety and be like, okay, I can understand why that would be, like, annoying, but I don't know. And I was very dismissive because I'm cold-hearted and really mean.
I think I take offense to the way you said, I was working. I have a job.
I know.
Yeah, sure you do, mattress boy. Yeah. Okay.
So during the window of time where Ben was dealing with the mattress shuffle, as it were, I was in the midst of kind of a longish meeting about kind of an important thing happening at work. And I had our kid with us, which was stressful a little bit, but he just like passed out. And so I just laid him on the floor in the middle of an auditorium. So mother of the year over here, wife of the year, just being a fantastic person, making fun of everyone and leaving sleeping people on floors.
You got a nap in. That's a great mom thing.
I did not get a nap.
Speaking of kids, and I don't know how to bring this back to your mattress, Ben, so maybe we're just done with the conversation. But today, my 2.5-year-old daughter offered me a fart donut. Now, she has a speech impediment where she can't say her F's. So instead of her F's, she says SH. So,
oh, that's even funnier.
Yeah, so she offered me a shart donut, which I thought was just perfect, given the float shart that we talked about last week. So yeah, maybe my daughter's listening. I don't know, but anyway, a fart donut. I can't wait to try one.
I was gonna say that I made a fart donut right before recording, but making a shart donut more accurate somehow. So it all works.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't catch that on air this time.
Yeah. Someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
Someday.
Bring the mic in. No, I'm probably not going to do that. So we are nothing if not tangentially pop culture related. So did anybody see the Joker movie trailer?
I did.
No.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
It's looks pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you. But yeah, it looks just like well shot. The music that they played over it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Joaquin Phoenix it looks amazing in it. He's been on a string of really good movies too. So I'll give this a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, with Todd Phillips, who directed such tragic classics as Old School, I don't know. Like, it looks like a really interesting character study. And I'm curious to see if it's sort of being played as a one-off, which I think is the way the DC Universe movies are going now, or...
And
Which is
rightfully
probably for the best.
Yeah,
Right.
rightfully.
Sure,
I was going to say rightfully so. Like they got a lot of cool properties, but like they're kind of messing it up with the whole Justice League attempt.
It does kind of bum me out a little, though, because if this pans out, and who knows, the movie could be a pile of shit. Maybe it probably will be, but like with Ben Affleck now out of the Batman role, and I really liked him in that role, and with sort of this interesting looking take on Joker,
Martha.
It's especially weird too when you compare it with the Jared Leto Joker from Suicide Squad, which
I did not like that.
Care for that one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He had an interesting, if you took away all like the stupid millennial tattoos and shit, the look was okay, but didn't do much for me.
I don't know how to feel about Jared Leto. Actually, I do know how to feel. I don't like him. I thought he was the worst part of Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that and the runtime. Bad. But it's just like it's like he's boom. It's just like he's like when you see him on screen, it's like he's acting. Like you can just see it in his face. He's like, oh yeah, I'm nailing this. I'm nailing this part. It's really good.
These method people like Daniel Day-Lewis, Jared Leto, put him in a box, put him in the ocean.
See, I don't mind Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, because he's good.
Yeah, he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
And when he's not good at it, he's funny. Whereas Jared Leto, I just kind of feel like he was kind of the kid in drama club in high school who gave you a complex because he was more committed than you were.
Sure.
Not necessarily better at it, but definitely more committed.
Well, we want to know how you feel about Jared Leto, internet. So if you don't like Jared Leto, hit us up with hashtag JaredLetGo. And if you love Jared Leto, Jared, hold on.
Okay.
All right.
Starting hot.
It took me a bit. If you don't like Jared Leto, hashtag fart donut.
Yeah. I think that's a good general hashtag too.
Yeah.
Yes, please, let's make hashtag fart donut trend this week.
It's a lot of hashtags.
Yep.
Yeah. So mea culpa of the week. I don't have much in particular. I do have one potential call out. I will open the floor, but I think we covered Ghostbusters pretty well.
I feel okay about Ghostbusters, but I would like to preemptively mea culpa for, and we'll get to this, another haunted house this week. That's my fault, but I think everyone will enjoy it anyway.
We have a theme. Maybe we should have saved it for Halloween, but we're leaning into it, and that's fine.
We're really pot committed at this point. I will note, though, that just because you're like apologizing now does not preempt a mea culpa next week on the same topic.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I accept it.
It's one of those, like, you can't rob Peter to pay Paul.
That's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to call out our listeners, but in a friendly way, a pleading way. Just a general call, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, for all those good 5-star reviews and written things and stuff like that. We will figure out a way to pay you for that, whether in friendship or stickers.
We will reward you. We will not buy your review, but we will thank you after.
Yeah, the hearty handshake.
with maybe cash in it, but it's a thank you. It's not paying you to do it.
An Egon kiss on the forehead, that kind of thing.
No one wants that.
A mason jar full of my toenail clippings.
There's always somebody on the internet who wants something, no matter how depraved it may be.
Ugh.
Hence the reason this podcast exists.
Just thought my mom was really supportive.
Is she?
No, I don't think she knows what a podcast is.
We'll change that. Now, on to this week's topic, and we're talking about 1994 in a half-hour period, and that's Captain Planet and the Planeteers. And I remember this show incredibly vividly. Did you guys spend a lot of time watching this?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I actually remember when they did the first like big commercial push, seeing an ad for it and being like actually really disappointed that I couldn't watch the entire episode right away. They did like a minute and a half preview or something. And my sister made fun of me mercilessly, which is fine. It is what it is. But it was one of the few times, or the early time, maybe the first time I can remember it being something like a cliffhanger in my life and hating it. I hated the anticipation. I hated that I couldn't just immediately have the gratification.
So the Captain Planet cliffhanger is a lot like Ben's hatred for waiting for mattresses to deliver.
Correct.
The waiting is always the hardest part.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, Captain Planet, interesting development story on this.
I love this. I'm so fascinated by it. I'm going to mute and I'm just going to listen, clapping happily.
So the co-creators are listed as Barbara Pyle, who is an environmentalist, and to this day, she's still on the board of directors for the Captain Planet Foundation.
Where you can still watch many episodes of the cartoon for free on their website.
Oh, really? Maybe I'll change the illicit link I found for the episode then.
Oh, yeah, use the real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good call. I'll do that tonight. And the other co-creator is listed as Ted Turner, which is just wild to me. You know? Ted Turner, like the affable media mogul. It's bizarre.
Yeah, the opposite of Barbara Pyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he was green. I don't know. I'm sorry, Ted Turner. I didn't mean to cast aspersions onto you.
But it is weird on its face, not knowing one way or the other about Ted Turner.
It's weird. I mean, the guy responsible for CNN and who owned World Championship Wrestling for a lot of years.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Braves and TBS. Like, just, it's crazy.
All the cable networks that start with the letter T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this show, at least for the first season or so, had a lot of big prominent people involved that I'm sure we'll talk about as we go, but just like tons of people you would know today. An interesting factoid that I read is that they wanted to merchandise the shit out of this. Makes sense. With a portion of that going toward the foundation. But one of the demands was that the toys be made from sustainable materials. So the toy factories that they worked with and the manufacturers had to basically change all their stuff up. Instead of using like, cancer plastic, they had to use like slightly less cancer plastic. Hey, that's really cool.
I agree. They put their money where their mouth was.
Mm-hmm.
Did they go through with it? Did it happen?
I can't attest to that myself. I didn't see the factories, but according to what I researched today, yes.
Excellent. And thank you for your hardcore research.
Of course.
Yeah.
So this was a show that had a lot of special episodes, right? So there's one around HIV. There's one where one of the eco-villains kills Linka's cousin with drugs. I guess, in a sense, every episode was a special episode.
I was going to say that.
Same. Yeah.
Which is a little, I'll put that out there as a little tease for you both and for the audience. That may be something we approach later on. But just, every episode had a focus on the environment, which makes a lot of sense. They had the eco-villains and the Planeteers, just an interesting setup. The first 3 seasons were called Captain Planet and the Planeteers, right? So that was run, I think, by Deke. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it transitioned over to the New Adventures of Captain Planet, which is what we watched. I didn't watch a lot of, I'm sure I watched as a kid, both shows, but the differentiator appears to be that the New Adventures of Captain Planet digs into the backstories a lot more. which I think speaks a lot to the episode that we watched. But the New Adventures of Captain Planet was a real deal Hanna-Barbera cartoon. So they can't all be quality.
I can't remember. Like, I remember there as a child seeing the difference between the stories and the animation, and I think they changed the opening or closing song a little bit.
Yep.
So I remember that, but I can't remember if they stopped showing the first couple seasons, or if they just, when it was in syndication or whatever, they ran both types of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Do either of you know or remember?
I don't have a clear differentiation between either, other than I know, like I can remember the song played at the opening of the first 3 seasons, and then after that they played the song at the end.
Yeah.
But, so that leads me to believe they probably just mixed them together.
I think that might be the case because they all aired for their first run on Turner stations.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be surprised, but who knows? I mean, with rights switching around in different animation houses, that wouldn't surprise me if like one went off the air for a few years or if they moved stations or something like that.
Yeah.
But
that always bothered me as a child, like when cartoons would switch the voice actors. So like Ghostbusters bothered me a little bit, or when they switched production companies. Like you could see the difference, and you wonder, like as a kid, you're like, why is this different? I don't understand. Like it just sort of like ruins your ritual of like watching the show and like knowing what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
I always found it disturbing or disruptive rather.
Yeah.
I think the worst one was Doug, when they switched him to ABC Morning for
Oh,
Nickelodeon.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he had like longer hair and stuff. Yeah. That shit sucked.
And all his friends, like they changed their clothes, like their outfits, like were modernized or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And they kept like one, like Fred was the only, who played Skeeter was the only retained voice talent, and everyone else they swapped out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Miserable.
Stark differences in a negative way.
Yes.
Definitely. And the thing that makes Captain Planet stand out, certainly amongst a lot of the other shows we watched, where they'll have PSAs, but they're kind of shoehorned in. So if you listen to our episode from last week, you had like the skeleton TV talking to you about being different is being okay, but like it's really shoehorned in. Captain Planet, like the whole show is the message. And it's broad. It's painted in huge letters because it's a children's show, but like every episode really hammers home a specific message. That's the point of the show.
Right.
Yeah. Like Sesame Street, it is not, but it's made with a clearer purpose than I think a lot of the stuff that we usually will watch.
I think that's definitely true.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Kid Video, which had a very clear purpose, except that it wasn't. The purpose was to sell records for that one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always to sell. I mean, the show's no different, but we'll move on.
This was to sell Earth
yeah.
to people.
Well, it's actually not sell Earth. That's the point, is
Right.
to conserve.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, don't consume, conserve.
Exactly. I hope by the end, like we're just quoting the episode. It's really burned in to us, you know?
Well, that's the idea, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's just like these messages are pounded into you, and then you're just like, yes, I shall recycle.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I have some thoughts on that, but we'll get to that. So the episode we watched was The Ghost of Porkaloin Past, which is season 5, episode 3, which aired on September 24th, 1994. A turbulent time. Maybe. Why did I say that? I don't know. I don't think it was turbulent.
I mean,
Was it because the movie Turbulence was #1 in the box office?
It was not, although there were a lot of T movies, which we'll talk about right now.
like the letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is contextual feeling. Contextual feeling. I don't like either of those words. Thank you. That saved it. So movies, as promised, number 1 with a T, Time Cop.
All right.
Oh, yes. Love that movie.
I've never seen Time Cop. I remember.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. I remember my cousin, who was probably a year or two older than I was, not super old, so he would have been 11 or 12, went to go see this with his mom, and I was super jealous about it. Because it's one of those movies that when you're 10, 11, 12, you're like, oh, fuck. That looks rad as shit.
A time traveling cop. I gotta see this. This is awesome. So did your cousin like it?
I didn't ask him, but
Oh,
we'll assume yes. How could he not have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to cast Captain Planet in a live action movie back in the mid 90s or early 90s, Jean-Claude Van Damme would definitely play him, right?
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Number 2, Terminal Velocity. So a Charlie Sheen skydiving themed action movie.
So I wasn't too far off with Turbulence. Okay.
No, not really.
So
Yeah.
I don't know why this is the case because I never watched movies in the 90s, really. I've seen Terminal Velocity an embarrassing number of times.
Really?
And I don't know why.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't even think I could quote it or like if I saw it, remember much of it. I just know that it was on TV a lot in my house for a while.
Do you remember that one line where Charlie Sheen, like he's skydiving down and his chute won't open and he just screams, "This is terminal velocity." You remember that one?
No.
I'm sure that was in there.
The titular line.
Martin Sheen voiced a villain on Captain America once.
You mean Captain Planet?
Yep, that's what I meant. How many times?
Almost.
Let's just take a quick bet now. How many times do I mess up the name of this TV show before this episode is over?
1.
I'm going with 7.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm going to come in the middle and maybe say 3. But the good news is we have a mea culpa for next week already. So this is great. Yeah.
It's true.
Already.
No scrambling for us. Number 3 movie, and a true one of these things is not like the others. Forrest Gump.
Jenny.
Ice cream.
Another movie that I've seen about 10,000
Oh,
times.
yeah. At least that one makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite line from Forrest Gump, everybody. Shaylin, you go first.
Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan.
Ben?
Ice cream.
Dave?
That's not fair. He's not stupid. That's my favorite.
It's a good movie. Isn't it weird that the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company is a chain restaurant that exists?
Yes.
It's fucking crazy. I want to eat there.
All right.
Yeah.
Bucket list.
Yeah.
Put it on there.
Shrimp bucket.
Oh,
Cool.
nice. Love it. I love it.
Top music. Number 1, I'll Make Love to You by Boys to Men,
Like
I will.
you want me to.
which is the creepiest music video I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Is it?
Agreed.
It's
Is
the one
Is
like
there
this,
a lot of candles?
so there's candles,
Yes,
but
and.
there's a woman who's taking a bath, which is beautiful and erotic as you would expect. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy who
Keep-
installed her
keep talking.
Yeah, the guy who installed her security system,
Oh, yeah.
like he breaks into the house and then they get down is the implication. So like
I
it's
don't like this.
watch the video. It's strange to say the least.
Put your clothes on the floor.
So number 2, Stay by Lisa Loeb, and number 3, Endless Love by Luther Vandross and Mariah Carey, which is a interesting pairing. And then top toys. Top toys real quick. The Stay toys for Lisa Loeb. So 94 is when the Power Rangers were getting big. So Power Ranger toys were all over the map.
I had a generic Power Ranger toy and thought it was the coolest thing. It was like metal. It was like die cast. It was crazy. But I remember going over a friend's house and he had the regular Power Ranger toys, like the actual ones. And I brought mine, and it was just like, I realized at that moment, I was like, wait a minute, mine's a cheap knockoff. This is bullshit. Like, I thought this was the real one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just yet another sad moment in my childhood. Like one of those disappointing realizations.
Power Rangers for me was the first instance I can remember of being jealous of things my brother had. So like when I was younger, like so Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters and stuff, but the Power Rangers toys that would come in were explicitly his. So he would have the Megazord and I would always like, he was younger. So I wasn't a jerk, but like I would always play with the Megazord because it's like Voltron, you're taking the pieces on and off and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fun side note.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that our 3-year-old would really enjoy the Megazord Mega Bloks toy.
Your
brother.
Yeah, context.
Yeah. Not the best toy for a 3-year-old, turns out.
Mega Block's poor construction. That's the problem.
Yeah. It's a super cool toy to look at, but not great to play with.
It's the thought that counts.
That's true. Like, no, he was spot on in terms of like 3-year-old wanting to play with it, but
Do you want to alienate some more of our listeners personally before we continue?
I didn't think that was alienating. I thought it was a cool toy that was just like really hard for a 3-year-old to get.
Just making sure.
We love you, Ben's brother.
If you're listening to this, Ben's brother, I was trying to be complimentary.
Shout
but it
out.
came across as ungrateful.
Well, that wasn't my intent, and I'm sorry.
And that's contextual feeling.
Yeah, we're not going to do better than that for sure. So this episode had 4 writers listed on IMDb. I'm going to go with the 2 that were given story credit, who were Nick Boxer and Dan Gottlieb. Interesting thing about Nick Boxer and Dan Gottlieb, they only have writing credits on Captain Planet. Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah.
Are they environmentalists, do you think, on the, like normally?
No.
Huh.
But I mean, maybe. I guess it's a good theory.
I find that odd because I found like the writing of this show was really like
Tight.
similar to yeah, it was very, very tight, but it was very similar to like other shows that we've watched where there's like a lot of puns and like the characters are only like kind of half rounded out or whatever. Sorry, Planeteers, but like it just like that's odd that they only worked on this one show because as we've discovered with other shows, when you're in the animation industry, apparently you're in it for 40, 50, 75 years.
Yeah. So I don't know what to make of it. Something. Definitely something. So, Shailen, you alluded to this. The show does not open with a song.
Nope.
And that pissed me right the fuck off to start. So let's hear what we do get.
Our world is in peril. Gaia, the spirit of Earth, can no longer stand the terrible destruction plaguing our planet. She sends 5 magic rings to 5 special young people. Kwame, from Africa, with the power of Earth. From North America, Wheeler, with the power of fire. From Eastern Europe, Linka, with the power of wind. From Asia, Gi, with the power of water.
All right, it goes on and on. You sort of get the point. But so we're introduced to the Planeteers, right? So you have Kwame, who has the power of Earth, Wheeler, who has fire, Linka, who has wind, Gi, who has water, and Mati, who has heart.
Heart.
So they're kids that are drawn together from all over the globe. And I guess when they get the rings, they just live in an RV or something. Right?
It's a flying machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they live in that plane?
I mean, I don't know if they live in it, but that's the only time you see them in a communal space that I'm aware of.
Yeah. 5 teenagers living in a plane. Imagine how fucking bad it smells. It's disgusting.
But Linka can just wind the smell out of it at any time.
Good call.
That's a good point. Imagine the hormones in that ship too. Just
yeah.
skyrocketing.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, the emissions in there just like the walls are crying.
Oh.
Yeah. Who's dating who in that group?
I read a lot of episode descriptions because this is my life now. Wheeler and Linka were sort of like the Daphne and
Fred
from Scooby-Doo, and that
so like Planeteers with benefits type of thing.
Yeah.
And what about Kwame?
Well,
Getting anything? No,
maybe.
No, I mean, they don't show it happening in the show at any point.
Yeah, we're not playing fanfic follies this week, but that doesn't mean that I can't cut that in later.
All right.
So after the intro, the show opens in a really bizarre kind of way, right? You're looking at bread and meat and stuff hanging down, like you're looking at the window of a deli, and then like a curtain, it opens up and you get some really pleasant audio. This is, of course, Hoggish Greedley, who's the main villain of the episode. And he's eating. He eats a lot.
He's always eating.
Yeah.
As his name suggests.
Yeah. So if you're one of those people who doesn't like the noise of eating, This is not an episode you're going to particularly enjoy.
Also, that audio sounds, I'm assuming, what sounds like all the things that you cut out while you edit these recordings. Just a bunch of nose slurps and lip smacking
Lip smacks
and all
things
that.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I leave a few in just to keep it sounding natural, but
Yeah, you want a veracity to this. I get it. Yeah.
I'm a messy water sipper. What do you want?
Yeah. It's a strange thing to say.
I was pretending that I made gross noises. It's a joke.
So he's a disgusting eater.
If you're a disgusting eater, hashtag messy eater. So Hoggish is with his friend Rigger. And
His employee.
That's right, his employee. And Rigger is kind of like a backwoods trucker. Is that a fair way to describe how he looks?
Yeah, I think so.
And Rigger, of course, is voiced by
I don't remember.
John Ratzenberger.
Thank
John
you.
Ratzenberger.
Which is crazy.
Well, because Ed Asner, the voice of Greedley.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So they fit together like peanut butter and jelly.
I was so focused on Ed Asner that I just completely dropped John Ratzenberger. That's what I'm telling you.
We're doing well.
Are we doing the voice acting Power Hour song, Ben, or are we not playing any more songs by you?
I don't have it on the board. Maybe I'll cut it in. We'll see.
Cut it in.
We'll see.
Get that in there.
We'll get that in there.
Kath Soucie is in here. Come on.
Yeah. What? Pat Fraley, Brad Garrett, and Dave Berger. Voice acting Power Hour.
The voice of Linka. Kath Soucie. She's in everything. She was like 10 people in Denver.
Oh.
I think she was in the Ghostbusters as well.
She was. She was one of the Janines.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Janines.
She was in. She did Rugrats. She does everything. She's in everything.
Jeff Goldblum was a voice
That's true.
on Captain Planet for a while.
Jeff Goldblum. Margot Kidder voiced Gaia.
Oh,
Except when Whoopi Goldberg did it.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're gonna get to Margot Kidder because I have a joke I'm very excited about. I'm very proud of it, so we'll get there.
Do you want to just skip ahead? Yeah.
Desperately, but no.
Oh, please let me tell my joke.
And LeVar Burton and Sting.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Thank God. So,
Louis Gossett Jr.
all right. So Hoggish gets a telegram that his grandfather, Don Porkaloin, has died, and Hoggish has inherited his desert estate. Now, I will say this, also a preemptive sort of thing. The name Don Porkaloin is so aggravating to say. Porkaloin. Like, my mouth is like drying up saying it. So when I start slurring over myself, I'm not drunk or concussed or anything. It's a hard word to say.
Well, you are, but that's not why you're slurring.
Yeah. So, of course, for some reason, Don Porkaloin lived in a haunted house. And Shaylin mentioned this already. I assumed that you had picked this episode because there was a haunted house. That is
not the reason why.
okay.
There's a very specific reason I picked this episode that happens later that I'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll point out, it's not a haunted house that he lived in. Truly. It's just an old house with no electricity.
You raise a good point, awkwardly, but you raise a good one. But no, I was going to commend you because I was like, oh, we did Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. Now we're kind of going into other things, but we've got this nice haunted house. Like, I don't know, it was a nice, easy transition from the Ghostbusters, and I appreciated that.
An easy transition that's completely coincidental to a really shallow and weird thing.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear what it is.
Do you have a ghost in your house?
What was that? What just happened?
Did a truck go by?
We have a motorcycle going by.
Okay.
That was so spooky.
Yeah.
It sounded very spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah, we at the end of the street we have like this guy will just like rev his motorcycle and then like just drive on and keep revving for a mile or so. It's fun. It's happy. Yeah.
I was really looking forward to doing like the Unsolved Mysteries thing, where they could interview us and they'd be like, and then on mic we just heard a ghost go by, and then they would show you, and you'd be played by like one of those unsolved
Ryan Gosling.
Sure. And like like the 1985 like Spectre kind of appears behind you.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't notice it? Yeah.
Or you'd be like, that was the last time we ever heard from Dave.
We should cut this
If you
episode off.
have any information.
Suddenly.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be good.
Watchbots. The end of Watchbots ended with the disappearance of Dave.
I mean, it's that or my death. They're really the only conclusions that work. So, where were we? Captain Planet.
We're at Don Porkaloin's house.
Yes, that's right. So we meet a guy who looks kind of like a cross between, he looks like a Pickle or Killer Croc, the Batman villain, and he sounds like Marlon Brando. Let's meet Boris.
This place is a real pig pen.
The Don would be pleased you think so. Greetings, Mr. Greedley. I've been expecting. Yeah, and who the hog are you? I'm Boris. I was Don Porkaloin's groundskeeper. Let me show you around.
He's
Boris.
he's a groundskeeper who walks around the house wearing a tuxedo.
Yes.
Truly fascinating.
I'm the fanciest groundskeeper in the world.
I mean, it's mostly rocks, right? Don't we learn that later?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I guess maybe it's not a taxing job.
Fine, Shaylin.
I'm going to
You
insert
win.
so much logic into this. So much.
Always the tack to take with these shows.
It was a throwaway joke, and you had to throw your perfect logic into it. Ugh.
So Boris is very energy focused. You know, he has a lot of thoughts on Don Porkaloin and energy sources and things like that. Let's listen to a couple just so you can kind of understand Boris a little bit.
What is that?
Just a battery recharger. The Don was big on renewable energy.
So it looks like the thing from Frankenstein that brings Frankenstein to life, but it's just a battery charger.
Yeah, the ceiling opens up, and it's opens to the sky, and lightning comes down, hits a rod, and powers everything.
But it is just sustainable energy.
But we continue.
No, it's a spotted owl clock. Don Porkaloin believed in bringing attention to endangered species.
By taxiderming them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that at all.
He killed the spotted owl to tell people not to kill spotted owls.
And then he even has a suit of armor that literally crunches cans and then gives Rigger coins. And Boris just says, it pays to recycle.
For reasons that are never explained, it's under a sheet, but still fully functional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Greedley does not believe that Don Porkaloin was big into the environment, and he fires Boris within about a minute. He also calls him Morris, Norris, and Horace, which is a recurring joke that didn't really land, but they smashed it out.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. I
Okay.
appreciated the effort. Yeah, but different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. Participation.
You're an idiot
trophy.
for not liking it.
I don't think anybody was doubting that. So, so Greedley and Rigger start looking around the house, and the house is just filled with junk, right? So he may have been an environmentalist, but he's certainly no Marie Kondo.
Ew.
It's topical.
Was that the joke you were waiting for?
That was one of them.
Okay.
He paused the episode to write that one down while we watched.
I did. Yeah. I don't write a lot of jokes down. That I don't know. That one tickled me just right. I also feel like explaining it's making it work better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
100%. Hoggish finds a chest with a journal that looks like a pig, like many things in the house and associated with Hoggish. And the Don had planned to build a golf course at one point. Let's listen to that.
Porkaloin Links. A golf course. Memoirs of Don Porkaloin. Plans to build a golf course and resort. Make fortune. Too bad he croaked before he could make that fortune for me. Hey, I can make the fortune. I'll be rich. I am rich. I'll be richer.
So, I mean, I guess the Don had reformed at one point. I don't know why he would have kept those plans around.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Where's your logic now?
Maybe it was bait.
Oh, maybe it was, given what we know later.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Fuck. I zinged you about logic and you zung it right back at me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go, girl. What is what's the timestamp at this point in the episode? Like, are we 9 minutes in, 6 minutes in, something like that?
So it's 6 minutes, and I wrote this down for a reason I think you're going to get to as well.
Yeah. So it's 6 minutes in. We've been following Hoggish Greedley
Yeah.
for 6 minutes, getting his backstory, the backstory of his father or grandfather. This is a show about Captain Planet and the Planeteers, and we have not seen them at all for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That's like nearly half the episode.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shaylin. Throw your logic at that one.
Didn't they summon Captain Planet in the first minute and a half?
That was the intro to the show. That's not the show.
Oh, I thought that was part of the episode.
Hell no.
I thought
No,
that's
no,
what
no,
they were
that's
doing
every
while
intro.
he was while Don Porkaloin was kicking the bucket. I thought that was
Porkaloin.
Porkaloin.
okay. All right.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it gets to that idea that they were really expanding on the characters, but I wrote this down too. Like, you're just following the villain around, and it's like, motherfucker, I don't watch this for Hoggish Greedley. I'm watching this for Mati and Linka and the gang, you know?
Yeah, and Sexy Wheeler.
Yeah.
The only justification I have is that after 5 seasons, maybe they were trying to break the formula slightly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. I'm with you.
Okay.
I did appreciate the backstory we were getting, the plot set up and all that. Like, it was nice, but then again, it was like 6 minutes long. It was just too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. It's like the preamble to our show sometimes, where we promise to talk about an episode of a cartoon and it takes us 55 minutes to get past like the intro. Not tonight though. We're zipping. Kind of. So we finally, at the 6 minute mark, do see the Planeteers, and they're immediately besieged by an earthquake. And how do we know this?
Earthquake!
That's the first thing you see. You see a dam in an undisclosed location, and then things start shaking. So you see a tree very, very slowly falling, and there's a crying boy who is by himself. And Linka blows it with wind, and then Mati drugs the child to make him stop crying.
With heart.
Right. And I do have a clip of this.
We are here to help.
It's really alarming.
So I think upon first watch, I was really not clear on how old that child was supposed to be.
Sure.
The animation isn't great there, and the kid's crying isn't believable.
Mm-hmm.
And so it didn't bother me as much that he healed him with heart until then they said that it was a child. And I was like, oh shit, did he just drug like a 2-year-old? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like his ring, like when he says heart, like emits like Valium rays and like just calms everybody down.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought heart was the lamest.
Oh yeah, it's not even
right?
questionable.
I think that's objectively true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like
Okay.
what
All right.
what is it? It's the power of calmness or like not giving up
And
It's-
compassion.
Yeah, I guess
It's like all those
sympathy,
intangibles.
sympathy.
Yeah, I guess it's ambiguous, so
Yeah.
they can have it be whatever they want it to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that all three of us just unanimously agreed that like human emotion that is positive is a terrible, terrible tool.
Well,
fuck that.
I don't think it's that. It's just like when one guy can shoot fire out of his hand, you know,
Yeah.
the power of
and
heart.
one woman's like controlling water in like insane physics defying ways. It's like, it's awesome.
Mhm.
And then you have heart.
Yeah. Well, we want to know what you think the worst power is. Hashtag Playmateer. And
Hashtag heart or shart.
I feel like that's a little exclusionary, but that's okay. Whatever the listener likes. We want all feedback. So I was reminded immediately of one of my favorite things about Captain Planet, that they all have to shout their powers constantly.
Yeah.
You know, like you see this in like Dragon Ball and stuff a lot too, where they yell their powers as if you're going to forget that, oh, the redheaded guy is fire. That's how the power works. They have to scream fire every time they shoot it, you know?
Well, it's like doing the spell as a wizard.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're really on top of your game tonight, your logic game.
I really watched a lot of Captain Planet as a kid. Like a lot of it.
The logic game.
The logic game. I liked it because, when they scream their powers, because it made it easier to play in the playground. Like, you knew who each kid was.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, so you'd be like, I'm gonna be water, and you just scream water at people.
Water.
Yeah, water. Remember who I am? I'm water. Yeah. Did you guys play this a lot with your siblings, or? Well, Ben, you didn't have any friends. With people, with schoolmates.
Not at the age of 10, because that sounds like something for like a 6-year-old. But
well, maybe some of us were
mature,
a little underdeveloped,
and that's why we're friends.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would play this with my sisters, and we always argued over who was going to be Wheeler because he was the cool one. And I thought Wheeler was so cool because he had a mullet, and it was like the best hair. Like, so I wanted to be Fire, and Fire was like the cool power, but it was more like for the mullet. And then I realized, every time we played a game, I always wanted to be the person with the cool hair, which in the early 90s just was mullets all the time. If we played MacGyver, I wanted to be MacGyver because he had a mullet.
Not because he was the lead guy who could do all the stuff?
No, just I wanted the mullet. So yeah, I was thinking about this after watching the episode. I'm like, man, why did I want to be? Why did I want to have a mullet so much? And I just like, I remember wanting a rat tail. Did you ever have a rat tail, Ben?
Yes, but not a particularly successful one.
Okay, all right. I always wanted one, and my mom stopped me from like asking the barber for one. And I'm kind of, in retrospect, I complain about her a lot on this show, my parents, but I really have to commend her for stopping me from getting a rat tail, or a baby mullet, if you will.
How would you ask for a rat tail? It's just long hair.
You say leave the tail.
Yeah, no, you cut everything else.
Like you shave the back of your head, but you keep
the little bit of tail.
braid.
All right.
Yeah. So you gotta have someone do it. You gotta ask for it specifically.
Leave the tail is what I say when I go down to the strip bar, baby.
Oh yeah.
And I'm wearing my big zoot suit. Leave the tail.
It is weird that you have a zoot suit with a purpose for strip clubs. Always know where Ben's going on a Tuesday.
A lot of people own zoot suits with no purpose.
That's
so
right.
Mine at least has, an actionable thing attached to it.
And landscapers own a lot of tuxedos.
Yeah, your zoot suit from your Cherry Poppin' Daddies fandom days.
Yeah, it still fits.
Yeah. The squirrel nut zippers. I legitimately really like swing music. I don't know why I'm making fun of it, but the real swing music, though.
Yeah, you don't want that fake ass shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, all this to say, I think I'm going to grow a mullet.
I think that's commendable.
I don't think it'll last, but I'm ready.
We'll Instagram it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll Instagram it.
Oh, you got to get on Insta.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't the kids just call in Captain Planet all the time? Does he have like a limited scope? Is that ever addressed? I'm looking your way, Shaylin.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like he just goes away. I suppose that if you could have had him be around all the time, you wouldn't need the kids.
But the kids need to summon him, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It's like because they're struggling with a dam and they call in Captain Planet and he solves it immediately. And I just had that thought of, oh, well, he so easily solves problems.
With a team beam.
Mm-hmm.
But he couldn't have saved that kid.
Yeah.
A Planeteer Bukkake. I actually wrote that one down. I think like what I appreciated was like they tried to solve it themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First.
Okay.
And it didn't work, so they called Captain Planet. And I think I hope that's the message that they want to send. Like, because if Captain Planet just came around solving everything, it would be kind of a boring show.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like everyone has some stake in this.
Okay. Well, so Captain Planet shows up, he solves the problem, and then he lands, and like his green mullet was everything for me.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just loved it. But like he's really got this aw shucks attitude. Like he's like curling his toe in the dirt. He looks kind of embarrassed. But then an interesting exchange happens.
Happy to help, Planeteers. The power is yours!
Gaia, what is wrong?
Hoggish Greedley is putting a golf resort in the desert.
In my notes, it says Gaia literally phoned in her performance. I just think it's funny that like Captain Planet is the ultimate herald of Gaia, right?
Right.
He disappears and then literally like 2 seconds later, Gaia comes to warn them about Greedley. Like, would have helped if she had just chimed in a minute earlier, but so it goes. I understand.
Right,
I understand. So Gaia warns them about the golf course, which is immediately built. You know, it's possible that there was a gap in between, but it looks like this golf course was built in a day, which I really appreciated.
I wrote in my notes that Hoggish Greedley is the most efficient builder ever.
Yeah.
Like, if you need contracting done, this is the dude you want to hire.
Yeah, this is like an ends justify the means kind of guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You would think that someone so wasteful and like obsessed with consumption would take a long time and a lot of materials to build to build this, and waste. But nope, super efficient.
As we see, he does use a lot of water because he's immediately set upon by a group of, I guess, politicians and environmentalists and things like that. So they show up and they start screaming at him, and he says that what he's doing is legal. And then there's no audio of this, but I'll post the GIF up on Twitter. The Planeteers show up, and there's a farmer who's complaining that Hoggish is using all the water. Wheeler aggressively pushes this man back. Did you guys notice this? Like, he shoved this motherfucker hard. It was weird.
You don't get in a Planeteer's way.
I guess not.
You don't fuck with them at all.
So the Planeteers go to a building. I don't know if it was a library or a courthouse or what, but
it's a courthouse.
It is a courthouse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because Kwame clarifies this for us.
The law is clear. Greedley is within his rights.
I just like the idea that they're in the legal library looking up like the codes and things like that involved. Shit.
They bump into Eddie from the original Ghostbusters, who's like still claiming that they need a trial. Yeah.
They're dejectedly wandering around thinking about the law, and they do run into Boris, who seems to know an awful lot.
But Don Porkaloin reformed. If he could see the light, maybe there's hope for little Hoggish. I've got an idea that might do the trick.
You gotta be kidding.
Make it chuckle.
It did.
You gotta be.
Hey, you gotta be kidding.
Well, because Wheeler's so skeptical, but then he immediately names it Operation Pork Out, which isn't even a good name.
Nope.
Like Operation Pig Out would be okay, but it's very specifically Pork Out.
So
stuck in my craw.
You missed something that I really appreciated when we watched this episode. So there's a lot of like really in your face environmentalism, don't waste water in this episode. But we have Kwame with the really subtle lesson too, where the Planeteers have Boris approach them.
Sure.
And Wheeler gets like aggressively irritated about it.
Sure.
And Kwame just goes, "We do not have a plan. It doesn't hurt to listen."
Yeah.
And it's like, it's really subtle, but also like a really powerful statement for kids to be like, oh yeah, it's cool to just listen to people. Like, we don't have to do this. We can just hear it.
Introverts unite.
So it's one of those good job cartoon kind of moments, which we don't frequently get to applaud because we usually focus on the negatives.
That's a rare thing that we
It's true.
that we've discovered in this podcast here.
Layers upon layers.
Anyway,
Anyway.
it struck me.
So I'm going to compress things a little bit here. Hoggish is sleeping, and he has on like a pig-themed hat, like one of those crazy bed hats.
Sleeping hat.
Like Don't Wake Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a nightgown.
I have the same pajamas.
Sure. I do too. I think it's a men's staple down at Banana Republic. But he is visited by a ghost, and there's clinking chains, and Hoggish falls down a trick staircase because this is certainly not a haunted house or something.
Right.
Right. But he is approached by the ghost of Porkaloin Past, and he warns him about conserving and not opening the golf course. Hoggish doesn't, he freaks out, but he doesn't believe him. But then he jumps into bed with Rigger, and I think this is worth discussing.
What's the matter, boss?
Are these men in a committed same-sex relationship?
What's the matter, boss?
You tell me.
I put in parentheses before relationship the word abusive.
Oh, yeah.
But because poor Rigger is
there is
very
a dominance
battered.
thing going on for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
but good for the show for showing this all facets.
it's a very accepting
all
show.
types of relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So you see the golf course, and I laughed because it was being watered to the point of saturation. You know how, like, during a really heavy rainstorm, like puddles will. Jesus, what a stupid thing!
Are
I'm
you
saying.
describing a puddle
when
to us?
when puddles will build? I was thinking specifically in grass.
Tell me about puddles, Ben.
Do you know the word mansplain, right?
Well, that has nothing to do with being a man.
No, I think that this is like a new subset of that where you just describe to do adults what a puddle is.
you just Dave-splained something.
Like Bill Nye over here. So it's being watered to the point of saturation because subtlety is not this show's strong point, nor should it be, I guess. And Greedley again meets the ghost of Porkaloin. This time it's the ghost of Porkaloin Future. So like we're a combined Halloween Christmas story kind of thing, but Porkaloin talks about the 3 R's, the joy of conservation, and claims that all will be revealed at the costume ball.
What do you want from me? Think globally, act locally, reduce, reuse, recycle, or you will lose everything, Huggish Gridley. The name's Greedley, not Greenly. My greatest choice came from conserving, sharing, and working with nature.
I have about one freak out moment in every single episode, right? And mine for Captain Planet was right about here, because what you get is Hoggish is rubbing his belly. You know, he's a little scared, but he's just like rubbing his belly. And then the camera pans to the other side of the wall, and the Planeteers are standing there with a movie camera. It looks like they're making like a weird, like voyeur snuff film kind of thing. It was fucking weird.
Yeah. It was something like out of 8mm. It was. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? They're like, they have a camera and it's to project the
Sure.
ghost, but it looks like they're filming Hoggish sleeping, and it's
Yeah, it's
gross.
not cool.
Gross.
And like Boris is there, and he's holding a picture of Don Porkaloin, which I think the explanation is that was what was being projected. That doesn't make sense, but I'll put that aside.
The physics of it don't make sense, and that's right. There's just 5 teenagers inside a wall with an old man watching another old man in bed.
Yeah, it's so weird. Oh, give me the heebie-jeebies. So
join me, children, in this tiny room.
So the Planeteers have set up a golf ball, which is a costume ball, but you get it. And they have to get into the hotel without Hoggish noticing them. How they do this is becoming Irish stereotypes.
Aye, and thanks to ye, Mr. Greedley.
There's something familiar about them.
They're literally wearing knickerbockers and the hats with the little balls on them.
or
Scottish.
Scottish stereotypes.
It's all the same.
Wow.
Wow.
You guys for or against Brexit?
Really?
The people want to know.
Pro.
I'm against Brexit.
Okay. I go with the will of the people. So the Planeteers are in their room. Did you guys see the painting of Mona Leeswine?
I liked it.
Yeah,
I did.
There's a lot of
I
really
did.
subtle paintings in this episode, yeah.
I like that not only was the painting there, it said underneath it Mona Leeswine, just in case you didn't notice, right? So then Rigger comes in with some kind of gun. It actually looked a little bit like the slime blaster from Ghostbusters. I think it was a fumigation gun or something, maybe.
I think so.
I don't know what it was. Are you awake, Shaylin?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
So Rigger catches them and he puts them in a vat of water where they will be drowned, which the irony, it's beautiful, but he's a little more than he's presented as. You know, there's a little bit more to Rigger.
Seems a shame wasting you since you want to save the planet like Don Porkaloin did.
Then why are you doing this?
Greedley's my boss. Who else would hire me?
That's business, baby, you know?
I'm torn between Rigger's character. Like, at one moment, I feel bad for him. Like, the other hand, like, he's very compliant and I'll just listen to my boss no matter what he says and no matter what I feel or believe. So I don't know how to feel about him. Maybe like it really tears me apart.
I was really more just hung up on the fact that these adult men were just totally fine with murdering 5 teenagers from across the globe.
Well, they're the Planeteers.
Yeah.
And they're getting in the way.
The Planeteers.
And you can be one too.
Yeah.
But they don't have a clear sense of what the Planeteers are going to do to stop this.
They're
they know is that there's 5 teenagers interfering or ready to interfere.
Mm-hmm.
So their solution is, we'll just fucking kill them.
Well, they're saving the planet because that's the thing to do.
Right.
Thank you.
Aren't the Planeteers in a situation like this every week?
Yeah. I was led to believe I would be in a lot more life and death situations when I was a child. I thought, you know, as I grew up, there would be a lot of them. And as it turns out, all of my life and death things are like bad decisions I make, like in Crosswalks. Whereas the Planeteers, they're like, hey, could you water the lawn a little less? And the response is murder. I don't know. It just seemed extreme.
I don't know. I feel like most days of my life, like I'm in mortal peril for one reason or another. Like I'm not.
Your mattress is being delivered and you don't know what's going to happen next.
I'm not joking. Like I think about this a lot. Okay, maybe this is not the time to get into this. Like I just think about like, oh, if I took a step this way, like I would just be creamed by a car.
That's something we should talk about off the show.
No, only on the air. It's cathartic. This is my therapy. Let's go to the costume ball. So there's somebody dressed like a mermaid. There's a monster. There's a Fred Flintstone. There are some cone heads. And there's a lizard who's ready to invest.
Mr. Greenlee, quite a party. I'm ready to join Porkaloin Links.
I love that the lizard had a mask that could like move its mouth and he's ready to invest. I don't know. I found myself thinking about the character behind the lizard. Like he's a venture capitalist.
From Australia.
Yeah, you have to think about like what costume he's going to wear to the Porkaloin Lakes costume ball. And
maybe I'll dress up like a lizard. Yeah, crikey. This is going to be a great costume. Hoggish is going to love it. It's going to be fantastic.
And here is the moment we approach why we watched this episode.
Yeah. Was it the Planeteers' escape from the vat?
Nope.
Well, we're going to talk about that first.
Okay.
So the
Planeteers
are in a vat of water, right? So they will drown. They escape in a way that I watched this legitimately 10 times, the sequence. I don't understand it. They're all tied up too. This is worth noting. Wheeler sucks in his breath and he dives in and he goes in. So his head is essentially at the bottom of the pool, right? So he's not doing a handstand, but he's upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Then he jumps out of the water, feet first. His feet go around a pipe like an acrobat, and then he can use the edge of the vat to cut his rope.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
I don't understand what you're not getting. He swam backwards out of the water. What? No, I'm just messing with you.
Can you not do that, Ben?
This is where I regret getting rid of the pool that was at this house when we bought it. Because I would try to reenact this right now for the purpose of the show, but I can't do it.
I thought you were going to say this is where I regret my co-hosts. Yeah.
Not quite. But so the kids escape. Now here, Shaylin, I think is what you were talking about.
Yes, I was just getting excited about it, like
and
the approach.
We see somebody who looks like the Chiquita Banana Lady, and she's very blue looking, and her eyelashes are done up just sexy. I think that's the term. And we get a couple of cool pickup lines.
Would you dare to prance? I mean, fair to stance? I mean, go to France? I mean, care to dance?
Get lost, lackey. I don't mean to hog your attention, dearie, but how about hoofing it with moi?
But this is just the beginning, right? Because Hoggish asks this mystery blue woman to dance, and he grabs her or puts his hand like very high up, like above the waist, like it would be full on side boob. But here we get the timeless art of seduction.
You're quite a sow. I believe you got everything a hog like me could would.
And you have something that I want.
I do.
You can turn this water-wasting golf course into a preserve for endangered desert species.
I will let you take it from there.
I had this really vivid memory of Captain Planet dressed as the Chiquita Banana Lady. And I just hope that no one looks into my search history on my cell phone because it took effort and I saw things I cannot unsee to figure out which episode had Captain Planet dressed as the Chiquita Banana Lady. So you're welcome, Dave.
Thank you. Can you go through some of the things that you saw, that you stumbled upon on your search?
It was pornographic. There was a lot of pornographic stuff. It's been a weird week.
Yeah.
It's been a weird week.
Well, you probably shouldn't have started your search in Pornhub or YouPorn. That was your first mistake. Was it Captain Planet themed or just Chiquita Banana Lady?
So I typed in Captain Planet Chiquita Banana Lady, and I saw one artist's rendition of him boning her. So that was weird.
Sure. Sure.
I saw her using a banana in
Yeah.
a way that I wish I hadn't seen.
So eating it.
And there were variations on themes like that. And also eventually a link to this. And really, it didn't take that long. It just felt like an eternity because I was in a public place on my cell phone.
No shame.
I had a lot of it at the time, but I feel better now.
You shouldn't. The world is fucked up and we can look at whatever we want because it's all out there. So be who you are. You know, that's the message I took away.
I think the thing about it, though, is
Embrace
like, that's
it.
not who I am. Like that's why it was uncomfortable for me. It's like I'm not into that stuff.
It seems to me that much like Boris, you're wearing a mask.
Sure.
Spoiler. We'll talk about it in a second.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a really good segue.
I wish.
But
I do want to charge through the rest of this episode, but there's
Go
one
for it.
thing I can't skip. I just can't because it's the best thing I've ever heard.
Not yet, Captain Clambake, because the chowder is yours!
So the Chiquita Lady, as you might have guessed, is Captain Planet. And Hoggish calls him Captain... What? Hoggish calls him Captain Clambake, which is weird enough on his own, but then the chowder is yours. And he throws a steaming pot of chowder at Captain Planet, and it does manage to subdue him, which is the best part. It's fucking fantastic.
Dairy.
And I didn't pull this.
that chowder was toxic.
It sure was. I didn't pull this clip, but Captain Planet then says that he's super. So just a lot of soup puns, which I always enjoy. But Captain Planet does save the day. He stops Hoggish. And we get to the end of the episode and we see Boris one more time.
You could have had all this. What do you mean? I do have all this, Doris. That's Don Porkaloin, or Grandpappy to you, Linker.
All right. Oh, wow.
Wow!
I was not as shocked as the characters that Boris was Don Porkaloin, but the Don reveals that this was all a test for Hoggish to see would he accept environmentalism and conserving in order to earn the land, and he did not.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one question
failed.
I did have is he allowed Hoggish to still build the golf course and waste all of that water.
Yep.
So it seemed kind of like a missed opportunity to not waste that water, but c'est la vie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably could have stopped him when he heard him say, like, yes, I'm going to build this ultra wasteful golf course.
Yeah.
I can make that fortune.
I'm going to be rich. Also, I thought I just, like, when he pulled off his mask, I was reminded of the toppled turtle test.
A little bit, yeah, yeah.
Like, what would happen if Hoggish didn't go through exactly as they had planned he was going to react, in the way he was going to react? It was very, this plan relied on a lot of things that Hoggish needed to do for it to succeed. Yeah, it was very, very tenuous.
Definitely.
Fucking idiots.
It's true.
Dum-dums.
So Rigger goes to work with the Dawn, and that's where we close. But of course, we do get some PSAs, and we got two of them. One of them is about conserving water, which makes sense given the tone of the episode. The other one is about carpooling, which I was not expecting.
If your area doesn't have mass transit, ask your parents or a teacher to write your local government and ask for it.
I just like that message. Get yourself some mass transit.
Well, what I like about it is basically they're saying, you're not a voter, kiddo. So find a grown-up to ask.
Yeah. And then we do get the song, and we have to listen to the song because it's the best part.
We
adventure.
Go Planet!
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. He's our powers magnified, and he's fighting on the planet side. Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. Gonna help him put asunder bad guys who like to loot and plunder.
You'll pay for this, Captain Planet.
We're the Planeteers. You can be one too. Cause saving our planet is the thing to do. Looting and polluting is not the way. Hear what Captain Planet has to say.
The power is yours.
We're the Planeteers.
You can be
You
one
can
too.
be one too. Because saving our planet is the thing to do.
Loot and plunder. It's a good song. So that's Captain Planet. And let's go ahead and give it a quick rating. Would you show it to a kitty? Shaylin,
Yes.
Dave,
Yep.
me too. And let's go with 1 to 5 bowls of golf chowder. Dave, you can go first.
4 out of 5.
All right. Shaylin?
4 out of 5 as well. I thought this was a great episode, but not the best cartoon I've ever seen.
So I will make it a social, and we will all get 4 out of 5. What I will say, though, is that thinking about this show kind of bums me out because it was around in the 90s, and the whole message was, like, save the planet. And then you think about where we are today, and things are remarkably worse than ever. So this show
Oh, yeah.
failed. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah,
So-
it's super depressing.
Yeah.
I'll have you both know that when we talked about Captain Planet, one of the other episodes was about the Planeteers urging politicians to help protect the environment. And it was just like, nope, this hurts too much. So
Yeah. Uplifting. And with that, let's play a game.
let's play a game.
And
Woohoo!
I got us this week, and this game is called Solution or Pollution. And it is certainly not a variation of a theme that we have done before. I'm going to read you an episode description. We'll switch back and forth, and you'll tell me if it's a solution, meaning it's real, or pollution, meaning it's fake.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about it. Maybe it's just a bad reference on my self-esteem that the fake ones would be pollution, but fuck it. It rhymes. It fits.
It's polluting the purity of the descriptions of the episodes.
Sure. So I will give you the episode title, give you the description, and you give me solution pollution. You with me?
Got it.
Got it.
Okay. Dave, you will be up first.
Okay.
This is one of the gang. After saving a rich man's life in a boat storm, Senor Cisneros treats the Planeteers to a stay at his luxurious hotel. When a hotel police mistakes Mati as a local riffraff, Mati decides to clear his head and visit the poor community. He meets up with a boy who can't read and is threatened by a gang who burns his parents' store. Solution or pollution?
Solution.
Correct. That was a real
Nice.
episode. Shaylin, this one's you. This is a good bomb is hard to find.
A good what?
A good bomb is hard to find.
Bomb.
Yes. The Planeteers attempt to prevent past and future versions of Dr. Blight from selling a nuclear bomb to a German dictator strongly implied to be Adolf Hitler. This episode implies Dr. Blight is ultimately responsible for the Hiroshima bombings as the result of a paradox.
Pollution.
That is a solution. That is a real episode.
Oh,
A good bomb is hard to find.
well then.
At first I thought you said bomb as in BALM. And I was like, and I agree. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
it is hard to
I mean,
find.
it is for sure.
I thought he said bong. And I was like, pollution for sure.
I don't think so, buddy. Anyway, Dave, this is yours. The Slaughters, a poaching mother and son team, abduct and sell baby orangutans who need their mother to survive. When the police can't stop the Slaughters, the Planeteers call Captain Planet to stop them. And this one's called Orangutangle. Is this a solution or a pollution?
I'm going to go pollution.
That is a solution. Also a real episode.
Oh my God.
We're not great at this tonight, Dave.
Shaylin, this one's yours. Waste from one of Duke Nukem's facilities gets into a farm's irrigation system and causes the cows to gain the power of speech right before they are shipped to a slaughterhouse.
Oh no.
The Planeteers go undercover to save the animals and expose the horrors of factory farming. It's called Mad Cows, if you please. Is that a solution or a pollution?
So I'm going to say pollution, but that should be made if it doesn't exist already.
Well, I appreciate the compliment because I wrote that one. That is a pollution.
Oh, no.
So the score is tied 1-1.
I like how you gave that one to Shaylin, too. That was very, very purposeful, I can tell.
It actually was not. I just plugged it in randomly. So,
Shaylin, here's one about animals that die.
Well, they didn't die.
They can talk.
All right. One more each. Dave, this one's yours. Your last go around. Mm-hmm. This one's called If It's Doomsday, This Must Be Belfast. And the description is as follows. The Planeteers go on separate missions across the world to prevent the detonation of 3 separate nuclear bombs in 3 major conflict zones between warring factions. Verminous scum is behind the plot of inciting hatred to get people into nuking each other. The main story sees Wheeler arrive in Northern Ireland, where the conflict is between the Protestants and the Catholics. Kwame and Linka travel to South Africa, where the blacks and whites are raging battles. Guy and Mati travel to Israel, where tensions are high between Palestinians and Jews. Is this a solution, or is this pollution?
Oh my god. There's no way they would have shown that on TV. In a cartoon. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say solution.
That's correct.
That's a real episode?
That's a real episode.
Serious?
And it's online.
Oh my god.
I did not watch it, but I do have plans to watch it. I want to see it. I guess it's a meme in Northern Ireland, or they wouldn't show it there at the time, and now it's become like an internet meme. So just crazy. So Dave,
that's delightful.
You have 2. Now, Shaylin, you can't win, but you can tie if you get this question correct.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready?
I'm never ready.
This is called Utopia. After being chided for watching futuristic thriller movies, Kwame suddenly finds himself and his fellow Planeteers fighting for survival in a surreal gang-dominated world ruled by scum and Dr. Blight. When Dr. Blight turns the other Planeteers into punks, Kwame's only ally is Darien, leader of Utopia, the last unpolluted refuge on the planet. Just when things look hopeless and even Captain Planet can't prevail, Kwame awakens to find it was just a nightmare. Or was it?
Solution.
Solution is correct. That was another real episode.
I remember that episode, so you're welcome.
Well, that's the risk you run. So that's a tie. It's a draw. I don't have a tiebreaker.
High five, Davey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody did good. But that's another round of solution or pollution. On to the mailbag. And we do have something down at the bottom of the sack today. Dear Watchbots, I like writing a podcast because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because irony is the most dangerous animal of all. I am deeply hurt by your calling me a contextual feeling song hater. I am not, but I am a monster. 2 things. I have some recommendations for a musical background for your Mea Culpa segment, since you insist on using the Latin phrase for this, you predominantly Catholic zealots. And then there were a couple of solutions around Weird Al Yankovic, which I will take into account. Creepy, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're going for after that real Ghostbusters Kiss discussion. This is your brand now. Probably true. That's an editorial. Number B, the original Ghostbusters song slaps, and I don't know why this hasn't been remixed into a dance club hit. Just a matter of time, I expect. But if you're going to bitch about repetitive songs, I guess you've never enjoyed a Red Sox game, because Let's Go Red Sox, Let's Go, Clap Clap is way more repetitive than that original Ghostbusters business. So unless you're ready to disavow the Mookie Betts, you need to shut up. Okay, talk to you later. Love, Saucy Jack. Just kidding, it's Emily Dedoy. Well, thanks, Emily, or Saucy Jack. And I guess that's more of a rant than a question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, was there a question?
I was waiting for a question.
I don't know.
My favorite barbecue food is a hamburger, to answer the question.
I like German potato salad.
Brisket.
Oh, yeah. Getting fancy.
Yeah.
That fucking Whole Foods mentality.
How many kinds of rub do they sell at your Whole Foods?
It's not Whole Foods.
Oh.
But it's several rubs.
I did go to Whole Foods today, and they do have an impressive
God, I could go
array
for
of
several rubs.
rotisserie chickens. Yes, me too. Chicken rubs, of course.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes. So
That was a callback, new listeners.
indeed, check the archive for whatever episode it was.
The one where we talked about the chicken.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Download them all and listen to each and every one, and you'll find it eventually.
Nice little nugget.
A diamond in the rough.
So if you want to send us a question or a strange rant, feel free to do so. Email at watchbotspod.com. So I think everybody's a little sleepy. And I guess any last thoughts on Captain Planet saving the world?
He's our hero.
Mhm.
Gonna take pollution down to... I'm just going to keep singing until someone interrupts me. So
I don't. So I will interrupt you.
Test that theory.
You're done. I don't know if this is true or not, but I read on Wikipedia that Fred Schneider from the B-52s did the closing theme song rap in one of the later seasons. And that's just delightful to me. Like, it's just how would that sound? Because before it's like, we're the Planeteers, you can be one too. And now it's, we're the Planeteers, you can be one too. Because saving our planet is the thing to do.
you know I'm going to spend the rest of the night looking for that.
Save. I can't do the voice. Save water to the tune of Rock Lobster. You know?
But it wasn't a can.
Love Earth, Mama. Oh, man.
Reuse and recycle.
They should bring Captain Planet back, I think.
Agreed.
I agree, Ben.
You could do the whole episode next week in that voice, I think.
Yes, I will.
That's a challenge.
Challenge accepted.
Alrighty.
I mean, challenge accepted.
You blow your throat out immediately. But that's okay. That's okay. So, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Jiffy at WatchBotsPod. Please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, or your platform of choice. For Dave and Shaylin, this is Ben. Thanks for listening to another episode of WatchBots. Until next week, be good to Mother Earth, you dopes. Bye.
Captain Planet, he's the man, leading the Chargers' #1 fan. Check him out, you're gonna see. Mega Mac Daddy of ecology. Captain the hero with the gumption. Takes all the overstimulation and consumption. Yeah, he could use a better groomer.
They've got a man with a humor.
But when he goes villains run amok, plundering and pillaging. Yeah, capturing a level up playing field with a PhD in sustainable yield. But he's not the only hero for Earth. Guys with the game, the Planeteers birth. Wheeler's the fireman, he's got heart. He's got the power to make water spark. Swapping rocket with element Earth. And Liquor uses wind for all she's worth. Still greenleys and lights trash our planet. It's up to us to say we won't stand it. Raise your voice and challenge your peers. Say it's way cool to be Planeteers.